Shabbat Shalom, Kol Holo, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Bahashim Makakwadash, Deval Nishi, the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, to the Aquatheter. Listen and learn and be in a pillar of rest, the 144,000, one-third, the hopeful elect of Israel. The brother Yashuan, Shabbat Shalom, and salutations to you all. This picture right here, right, one day ago, Trump expects Putin meeting very soon. I believe that they did have that meeting. Trump-Putin team meet in Saudi Arabia, okay? So they had that meeting. All right, so let's get a quick, I'm going to try to keep this very short. Let's get peace and safety, because this is what this appears to be. What do you mean? Here it is. Russia's been fighting against the United States for the last, 4 years in Ukraine, and now they're shaking hands? What do you mean? Is that peace and safety? They went to do what? Discuss a deal, right? Well, we're going to make a deal, right? See? This is a deal. What? Peace and safety is the deal they're trying to make. Did it work? Let's read the scripture first. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say, peace and safety, what's going to happen? Then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Right? This explains to what degree, as a woman, it makes a comparison, but sudden destruction cometh upon them, period. You could just stop right there. So this is going nowhere. That's the point being made. Well, what's going on right now? All right. Bloomberg, 19. Let's check this snippet out real quick. Oh, come on. Sergei Lavrov. So everybody was there. They held their little peace and safety meeting. Rubio was there. Wait a minute. Okay, is this the one this is the one that they sent Rubio to. Slovakia. Now we got to go into it. Let's find one. Let's find one that says teams meet. Okay, their teams met in Saudi Arabia with Europe sideline. So they didn't invite Europe. Let's see. News about says U.S. and Russia hold talks. Okay, so they sent their representatives. Let's find out. 19 hours. Okay, so they're setting up the meetings.
U.S. and Russian officials say they'll begin working on a path to end the war in Ukraine. The two sides finished discussions in Saudi Arabia today without Ukraine being invited to the table. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the talks were part of a larger process.
The larger process of peace and safety. So with this pronouncement of peace and safety, sudden, see, words have meaning. Sudden destruction, not just destruction, sudden destruction. Thought that was a dog growler.
Not going to pre-negotiate an end to this conflict. These are the kinds of things that have to happen through hard and difficult diplomacy and closed rooms over a period of time. The goal of today's meeting was to follow up on the phone call the president had a week ago and begin to establish those lines of communication.
Let's now head over to West Palm Beach with CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez. Nancy, what are U.S. officials saying about these talks with their Russian counterparts?
Well, they're saying, Lindsay, that they expect that they will be followed up fairly quickly by more talks, including direct conversations between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. They say,
you know what, that sounds a lot like reparation. for you Negroes. Well, we've come to a conclusion that we're gonna study it, and we're gonna do a study, right? Before we come to the table and agree on it, we're gonna study this thing first. That's what that sounds like. Anyway, so there has not been a meeting yet. All right. 71 minutes ago, Trump's stunt in Riyadh. Rubio's sudden exit stuns everyone. So let's try to glean some information on what actually happened. This is Dialogue Works, and they're going to talk about it in the larger scheme of geopolitics concerning World War III, right? From the perspective of the other side, not the West, but this is from the East. This is from the Arab perspective. So let's look at it, right? And this is John Helmer, but still, it's not such a one-sided affair as it would be as if it were Fox News. Take it away.
Hi everybody, today is Wednesday, February 19th, 2025, and our friend John Helmer is back. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now remember, this whole thing is about peace and safety. And for Russia to be meeting with the United States, this is the tip of the spear. This is World War III. This meeting, right, is about whether World War III will proceed, not if Russia is going to continue to fight against the Ukraine. That's not what this meeting is about. This meeting is about whether World War III will commence or not. And we already know the answer: sudden destruction.
Let's start, John, with your understanding, your take of what has happened in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia.
Right. Well, the Russian perception is that the American side is a kasha, is a porridge, is a mess. But it's necessary not to be impolite to say so. And the question to be answered is, by what standard can we measure from a Russian point of view what the US side showed, what they did, and therefore what will happen next?
Okay, so already he's talking about both sides. All right? He's considering language of both sides, whereas someone like Fox News is going to give you their slant and not even consider anyone else's opinion whatsoever. So that's the first thing to analyze when he's about to answer old Nima's question over here. So here you go.
Try to answer your question by turning it around a little bit. First, what should the Russian side do next in relation to what they saw, what they tested? It's very clear that, and Mr. Lavrov, the foreign minister, made it very clear from the beginning before he arrived that it was a US initiative to hold the meeting, that it had value to the Russian side to hear and to test what the American side came with.
Okay, quid pro quo. All right, what are they doing? They're negotiating terms for peace and safety. What do we already know is going to happen? Sudden destruction. Continue on.
Okay? Now, the first thing that the Russian side should be doing is to reassure its own allies that it's not betraying them for a
Russia and its own allies. What are we talking about? Ezekiel 38. Who are Russia's allies? Persia, Libya, right? Syria, Togarmah, Turkey, right? So this is right out of the book, what's being discussed here. And again, we already know the outcome. What is the outcome? It's not peace and safety. All right, so we'll let him talk and we'll let him analyze, but we already know where this is going. Okay, but consider the players. He just spoke of the allies. I could grab Ezekiel 38, show you those allies, show you on the battlefield. Okay, where did they have this meeting? Okay, that would be in the Valley of Hawashaphat, in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, right? Where the Arabs are, where the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. See, we're in that time right now, so it's indicative that we understand, right, how major this dog and pony show. See, where it is Trump is immediately supposed to go and talk to Vladimir Putin and square this thing. What did they do? They sent their lackeys to go scoff at each other first, right? And establish a pecking order, right? So you already know it's already going to go south. And that's what they're saying. What he's saying is, well, what do we get out of it? Russia's like, what do we get, nigga? We're already winning, right? And Russia's going to, what he's saying, I'm going to explain. See, because Russia already has the spirit of triumph on them. This is what Russia's saying. We already won the war. What can you offer me? Don't come to the table without nothing. So they came to the table without nothing. Rubio jumps up and runs away because it's already done. He's explaining Russia knows it's already a done deal. I'm going to back it up just a little and let him say that again. Russia has the spirit of triumph. They know they already won. They already won the major war, World War III. They already know that. Why? Because the Most High put the spirit of triumph on them already. They know that they're going to win. Okay.
Now, the first thing that the Russian side should be doing is to reassure its own allies that it's not betraying them for a private deal with the United States.
Because the United States said, okay, we'll fix this whole thing. We'll get you out of this. If you break up with China, you got to leave China alone. You got to leave Iran alone. They actually said that. Here are the terms of it. You got to break up this BRICS thing. And then Donald Trump was running yesterday. Thought BRICS is destroyed. I destroyed BRICS. No, you didn't. BRICS is the undoing of U.S. hegemony, right, worldwide. Anyway.
That's a concern, especially after Syria, after the loss of Bashar al-Assad. And in fact, that's going to happen. Foreign Minister Lavrov will be going down to Johannesburg in a day. We'll be spending 2 days with the G20. He will be in a position to talk directly to China and to other allies. I don't know, but I would assume that Russia will send somebody significant, perhaps Mr. Patrushev, to Iran, and somebody equally significant, perhaps Mr. Shoigu, perhaps someone else, to North Korea, to indicate.
You hear these names that he's naming off? Syria, North Korea. These are Russia's direct allies, okay? Meaning these talks, these peace talks that they're trying to cobble together are at the very tip top of everything, at the top of World War III. World War III at the top players are the United States against Russia, or the United States against Russia and China. Okay? Put it this way, who would win a war between Russia and China? The answer is Russia. So who's the baddest? Russia, China, or the United States? The answer is Russia. Okay, we already know who's going to win. So anyway, here's the peace and safety. All right, the point being made here is they went and had some talks that Rubio jumped up and ran. He fled up out of there or whatever. What did they do? They set up more talks. What's going to happen after those? More talks. What are they doing? They're saying peace and safety. Okay? They're coming to the table. They're trying to make everything okay. All right, everybody, we're going to work this out. We're going to make a deal, right? We're going to make a deal. When that happens, then what? Sudden. See, this word right here. That's what nobody. What does sudden mean? That means, nigga, you didn't know. Even though we sat here and said, look at this word sudden. Look at this word sudden. Let's look at that. What does that word sudden mean? That means, nigga, you didn't know. Okay? Before you knew it, nigga, you was having a whole baby. One minute, nigga, you talking straight shit, and in the middle of your sentence, you're having a whole baby coming out. Like me passing a kidney stone. It's kind of like that. So, and I jest when I say I don't mean to make light, but this is what's going on. We're right here right now. As to what? Okay? Peace and safety, sudden destruction. What sudden destruction? Revelation 13. It's lucky. Revelation 11 and 13. And in that hour there was a great earthquake. That great earthquake is that sudden destruction. See, people don't understand how quickly this thing is going to, it's already moving quick and you don't understand that. Okay, you just think, oh, well, season is changing and daylight savings and nigga, I'm tired. It seems like one day is a week. A week done surpassed. So you're not putting those things together. The Most High done sped this thing up. And before you know it, days are going to be passing, right? Like hours. And you're not going to understand what's going on. Why? Because you're not paying attention. That's what that word sudden means. Not sudden for the men of the Lord, right? And in that hour, the Most High can make an hour. What is an hour to the Most High? All right. Revelation 11 and 13. And in that hour was a great earthquake. Let me read it correct. In that hour, there was a great earthquake, and a tenth of the city collapsed. 7,000 were killed in the quake, and the rest were terrified and gave glory to the power of heaven. All right, so if you understand earthquakes, if you live in California, one minute everything's fine, the next minute you're about to shit on yourself because of the enormous power of the earth shaking, right? Atheists, right? For that, what is it? 1.3 seconds. Atheists are like this, calling on God. If you are used to earthquakes like the East Coasters are used to hurricanes, we're like this. Yeah, you might have grew up in California, been through many quakes, but every time they happen for that 1.5 seconds, motherfucker, you are no longer an atheist. You're calling on God, right? It happens in a blink of an eye, and it's over. But right after that, you're like this. Oh shit! That was just for a moment. Can you imagine if he did it for a whole 10 seconds? 10 seconds would be for like that hour, right? An hour can either go by in the blink of an eye, or it can take ages. All right. So trying to figure out where to close this thing. Let me get time real quick. This happened yesterday. I'm like, did I get time? We're just going to stay in the Marian here. Matthew 24 and 22, if those days had not been cut short, nobody would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. So the Most High is, making time shorter is what that means. The days are shortened. In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened. Let's see. Those days will be cut short. Let's see. Days will be shortened. So we can glean a little more understanding. Will be limited. He will make the time shorter. See, that's pretty direct. We'll reduce the days. That's a little ambiguous. This is it. He will make the time shorter. Okay. So as that, how you have to consider these things, right? When you're making your plans, say for example, we got roughly a year and a half to go before we're the fuck up out of here, right? So how much money do you have, right? Well, if you trying to make however much money you have last, right, you have to consider these things. First of all, what money are you going to be able to spend and how? That's going to be some black market money unless you go get a chip. Okay, you got to take these things into consideration. What about hyperinflation? So if you have 100 grand, right, in your account or with you, right, with hyperinflation, will that 100 grand get you through that year? How much is a carton of eggs? How much is an egg gonna cost if two crafts of pigeon dung is worth 5 silver pieces? Paraphrasing. Okay, you have to consider those things. If food is going to be scarce, how much money will it take? Right? Being off grid, right? Or those of you who have your little nest egg sitting at B of A or whatever, and when they shut that shit down and it don't mean nothing no more, and you thought you had a plan, that's when this word sudden destruction, where is it? Let's get that back up here. Sudden. See that? Destruction will come on them. Suddenly. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. Suddenly. Then sudden destruction. All right? Why? Because you was tripping. All right? First of all, you don't need no money. Okay? You knew that was going to take it. You knew it was all going to fall apart. And now you got nothing but what? That faith, that hope. All right? So anyway, let me get out. This is let's start going back to the basics. I think I'm gonna do a Lord willing, I'll do a lesson with the milk that we started. The milk that we started with, Job 9 and 24. Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of these times, of our time, the times that we're in right now, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High is his treasure. Right? Here's what's going to get you through. Right? Are you going to fear this devil and what he's bringing? Or are you going to fear who put the devil up to it? You understand? You got to fear the source, not the creature. All right. So with that, we hope the elect are edified together. Peace and shalom. Shabbat shalom.